2 days. I just landed in Atlanta. I was in Washington, D.C. I was there yesterday for the crazy day, and I kind of just want to share what I saw yesterday, because yesterday was absolutely insane. It was wild. And I actually can't believe the things I'm reading about and hearing about and seeing on the media, especially last night. It was wild. But yesterday was a very sad day for me. And not because of what the media has been saying. I think I always ask people two questions. One, do you trust the media? And I would say majority of people don't. Right or left, doesn't matter. Whether you're conservative or Democrat or liberal, if you ask the general person, do you trust the mainstream media or do you trust your government? Majority of the people, they say no. And so it's just so funny that people are so quick to judge what happened yesterday. And I was there yesterday. I went to the march, and I'm going to share my story of exactly, I was there from the beginning all the way to the end. And yesterday, I've had some friends, family, how could you be there? Why are you there? And two things. Why I was there yesterday. One, I voted for Trump. And I have no problem saying that, because I'm tired of people trying to silence people. The great thing about living in America is you have the free opinion to believe and vote for whatever you want, whether it's right or left. And that's what makes America great, is that you can have healthy debate. And I voted for Trump, and I am not ashamed of that. I believe in his policies, and I love a lot of his policies. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I will not be silenced by what other people have to say, or what, and I think that's fair. And so the things that I believe, I felt like it was great to go to DC and stand and support the president for the policies that he's pushed. And I do believe that our nation, things that happen in the nation, is not good. So I went to DC, and I honestly wanted to document what was going to happen yesterday. And what I saw happen yesterday is absolutely insane, especially the way that it's being portrayed. We went to, we were at the Lips yesterday in DC. Got there probably around 7 in the morning, 7 a.m. right in front of the White House. And it was incredible. Like, there was no, like, the things I'm watching on the media it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me what I'm watching on the media. The speech was incredible. People are singing the Pledge of Allegiance. It was beautiful. I had a blast all day yesterday. But throughout the day, especially during the speeches, especially during Trump's speech, there was a lot of hecklers throughout the crowd. There had to have been at least 1.5 to 2 million people. Like, it was unreal how many people were there. But throughout the crowd, there was a lot of hecklers, and they were getting people pissed off and mad and angry. And even to the point where I will admit, I was getting angry. And so right when Trump finishes his speech, he's like, we're going to go down to the Capitol, and we're going to stand out, and we're going to march to the Capitol for a march for what we believe in. So we go ahead and do this march. And right at 1 o'clock, we get the word that Pence, comes out and says that, he's not going to object and whatever. And you start feeling this, like, this tension. But there's like all these little hecklers that are just like making people get angry and pissed off and mad. And what was the weirdest thing is when I left right when Trump's speech finished. We marched. And we got to the Capitol. And right when I get to the Capitol, the first biggest red flag is there's this, I don't even know what the word is. It's a cabal or debal or whatever. There's this big wooden stage with a noose. And like you're going to hang somebody. And it was right in front of the Capitol in a huge way. And that was like the first red flag. I was like, hold on. I was like, and a lot of Trump supporters were like, everyone was like, what the hell is this? Like, and you could just, right away, I was just like, oh shit. Sorry, excuse my language. But right away, you felt like, we're getting played right now. This is crazy. Like, there was a noose there. There was this big wooden stage. And you just felt like something is off and something is not right. And so I was like, I got to get down there and see what's actually going down. So I actually took my camera. I have video and footage and photos of what I saw. And what I saw was, what I actually believe is that there are some really bad people that are not liberal or conservative. They don't care about Republican or Democrat. They don't care about whatever you believe. This is evil versus good, and that there was people that were paid and bad actors. And I know that, again, you have to remember, do you trust the media and do you trust your government? And I think both sides on the right and the left would say no. And so you can't necessarily trust what is being said right now, because what I saw multiple people, and I remember watching, especially during the Black Lives Matter protests, where you would say majority of it was a peaceful protest, but then there's people at the end that were, whether they were paying people off or they were getting people pissed off and angry and mad, and they were trying to get people to join what they were doing, especially a lot of these Antifa people, whatever. And you started seeing a lot of these people, and they would come up to us and like, we have to go attack the Capitol. Everyone around them was like, no. I watched 2 or 3 of the same people the entire time, because I was in the front of the Capitol. And I have videos and photos to prove everything I'm about to say. But what I watched yesterday was about 200 to 300 paid actors dressed as Trump supporters yesterday. And I know you're like, oh my God, he's crazy. No, I watched this happen. And every single time, and I was actually really confused because I was all the way in the front, in the middle of the section, video cameraing this the entire time. And, my friends are texting me and calling me like, hey, there's people in the Capitol, you need to be careful. And I was like, not one person's in the Capitol. Literally, not one person is inside the Capitol building, because no one could literally get in. Now people were trying to get in, and there was these same, I would say 15 or 20 guys around us that were, they were rocking Trump gear, but they were so suspicious and they were acting so weird. And at one point, the same exact people, they started smashing windows of the Capitol on the right side and the left side. I'm watching it probably 15 feet away from me. And you start hearing the entire crowd. They're like, he's not one of us. And honestly, the entire crowd started chanting, F Antifa, which, if you're a conservative person, they actually believe that a lot of these people that were instigating what was happening yesterday were paid actors or Antifa people. And I'm sure also Trump supporters, at the same time, they bought into what was being told and what was being said. But what I watched with my own eyes was these 2 or 3 guys. They were all dressed in black, but they were rocking a Trump hat backwards. And they started smashing the windows, and you started seeing, I would say, all 5,000-6,000 people in this section. They all started chanting, F Antifa, he's not one of us. And literally, they pulled this dude down and pushed him out of the place. And then another person would try to get up, and they pulled him down. And thank you. The guy was just like, you're right on. And then I watched the same 2 guys come back up, and they went after a cop and started pounding a cop. And everyone was like, stop it. And literally what I watched yesterday was a fight of about 200 to 300 really bad actors. And I was in the front, and I watched this happen. And every single time someone started attacking the Capitol, trying to break in, or started attacking a cop, every single time, every single Trump person that was there for a good purpose, 99% of the people that were there to stand for our president and stand for our beliefs. And that's why they were there. They were not there to break into the Capitol. And I see people telling me I can't believe the violence that you guys are for. What was happening yesterday was the most beautiful thing, and it got hijacked. And I remember so many people, even during a lot of the Black Lives Matter protests, and I went to a couple of them, where you saw majority of the protests were peaceful there. And then at the end of this protest, you started seeing people were paying certain Black Lives Matter protesters to go do stupid crap. And I literally was watching people with my eyes, paying people to go damage the building, or paying people to go on the left side of the Capitol. I actually literally watched with my eyes where the people weren't like, trying to break into the Capitol. They literally opened the barricades on the left side of the Capitol, and the police let them in. And I saw pictures of, I actually just saw a website where it's like the FBI wanted of, certain people that were inside the Capitol. And like the main people that were inside the Capitol, I saw all of them outside of the Capitol throughout the entire day. And so like, I honestly do believe that yesterday was a really big setup for both sides, and that these last 4 to 6 years, all of these protests, Black Lives Matter, for George Floyd, for the Me Too movement, for the conservatives and the patriots, we're being played. Like, I'm convinced of it yesterday, because when I came home and I watched what was being said on the news, what was being said on the news is bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Were there some Trump supporters that were pissed off and angry, and they moved might have moved a barricade or whatever? Yes, but it was all instigated, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, because what the purpose is to divide America. And I believe it now, because I remember so many of my friends, they're like, when they're at Black Lives Matter protests, and they're like, there was just some really bad people and off people that were encouraging violence and encouraging destruction. And holy shit, excuse my language, I'm convinced that after last night, I've never experienced propaganda like I watched last night. And I could not believe when everyone was calling me, they're inside the Capitol, are you safe? I'm like, what are you talking about? We're standing outside the Capitol, and it's amazing. And there was one slide on the left side where the police opened the barricades. How did they get in Nancy Pelosi's office? Like, I'm sorry, not one person got inside the Capitol. From the main shot, the main picture where you had 20, 30, 50,000 people up there, we were all just standing out there. We were singing the Pledge of Allegiance. We were singing the national anthem. It was beautiful, but there was, every now and then, there was these 5, 10, 15, 20 dudes, and like, we saved a cop's life yesterday. We literally, and the chants that we would say is F Antifa, and we would say, not in our house. We will not burn our house down, because there was these certain people that were trying to cause all of us to get angry and to attack the Capitol. And that's not why we were there. That's not why none of us were there. We were there to protest. And if you remember months ago, even when Kavanaugh and the Supreme Court justices, the Capitol was taken over plenty of times. Like, everyone's like, what are we doing? White supremacy. And I'll tell you this, we were gassed. We were there. I got tear gassed. I got pepper sprayed. I got everything. And when we were all just chilling. And I honestly believe that yesterday at the White House, we were completely set up. We were set up for multiple reasons. One, to make us on the right, as a conservative, that we were these crazy people that were trying to attack the Capitol building. And I watched with my own eyes, and I have videos, and I'm actually going to post this after this story. I have videos that I recorded with myself, where every single time someone tried to hammer a window, they would get pulled down, and everyone would start yelling F Antifa. Shouldn't say the F word, but they did. They were all saying F Antifa, because they knew that they were not one of us. And I know that, and I've seen pictures and videos, and I was crazy, because where I was standing, there was this one guy, and he kept trying to get everyone pissed off and mad. And I will be honest, at one point I was like, yeah, maybe he's right. Like, he was getting in our heads, and he was trying to get the crowd routed, and he was trying to get the crowd very mad, to the point where we would attack. Like, we're gonna attack, we're gonna hang them. And I'm just like, and then when he said that, everyone was just like, dude, what are you talking about? And then later that night, when I get home, I see pictures that he was inside the Capitol hours before, somehow, because we never got in the Capitol, but somehow he was in the Capitol, and he was like in this weird coat, and sitting on Nancy Pelosi's desk. And I'm just like, how the hell was he in Nancy Pelosi's desk when I was with him the entire time? from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. I watched this dude. He was trying to egg the entire crowd on. What I saw yesterday was a farce. It was a hoax. I was there on the front line. I was there in the right next to the main doors of the Capitol. Nobody got in. Not one person at the Capitol got inside the main doors. Now, how did the other people get in? I have no idea. Maybe on the left side where I saw a video where there was some people and the cops literally opened the barricades and the people ran in. But the people that I saw doing photo ops, there was a guy with 2 horns, and I don't know if you guys saw that photo. There was a guy with 2 horns. He was at the rally, and he was outside in the middle of the Capitol trying to egg people on the entire time. So it's like, hold on, you're telling me that he was inside the Capitol hours before, but he never got arrested. He never got arrested, but then like hours before he was outside the Capitol trying to get people to break windows. He was trying to get people to ram the doors in, and the whole thing stinks. And I say that to and I sympathize for a lot of people on, especially the Black Lives Matter protest, because I was very critically minded of myself, even myself, where I thought that these people were, you hear stories that there was agitators and they were paying people off. I watched it with my own eyes last night. And what happened last night, I'm convinced that it's been happening for all of these protests. These protests are designed to divide America. And I have so many friends that are liberal, they're on the left, I'm on the right, and guys, we're buying the bait. We're buying the bait. And I wanted to say this video because honestly, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that we are being duped. Yesterday was the day where I'm just like, holy shit, we're being duped. And it's so sad to see that we bought the bait, and that there's people, and I've actually I saw photos and videos of people that were there last night that were at, that were they were being Trump supporters, but they were literally at a climate change protest, or they were at a Black Lives Matter protest. There's paid people that were at our rally last night that were literally at rallies for the complete opposite side, which is why I'm convinced that both sides, good civilians, good people that actually care, they are being duped, and we're being brainwashed that there are some really bad, evil, freaking people that are trying to divide our country, and I'm not buying it. And I just wanted to create this video because I've actually gotten a lot of flack over the last night for being at DC last night, being in DC yesterday. And guys, I'm sorry. I will not apologize for standing with my president, because I believe and if a person that stood with Obama, they shouldn't be sorry if they wanted to stand with Obama because they voted for them. That's what America is about. America is about free opinion and free ideas. So I want to apologize for that. But I will apologize for a couple things. One, I apologize for being very critically minded of the protests that happened over the last couple of years, because I do believe that a lot of these protests were hijacked by really bad people. I do believe a lot of these protests were paid by a lot of bad people. And the mission of these protests was to make America more divided. And they were successful. And it's really sad to see. I think, one, we need Jesus, man. We need Jesus. That is, at the end of the day, I think Jesus and faith is the only thing that's going to hold us through what's about to come, because, I don't know where we go from here on both sides. I think there is evil people on the right and the left. And, when I flew into Washington, D.C., and I saw, the beautiful buildings, and I saw the beautiful, everything was gorgeous, millions of dollars of the buildings and the architecture. And then I fly into other cities. Dude, I felt like I was in the Hunger Games. Hold on, all the other cities, the poor, and they're cities that are the cities that are destroyed, and the homelessness. But then you walk into this city and it's just like streets of gold. And I am absolutely convinced that the right and the left is being there's good people on both sides, and we all want the exact same thing. But there are some bad actors at the top that are causing us to divide, and they're causing us to draw. They're drawing a line, and they're saying, which side are you on? And I'm telling you, this line is not right. And don't believe the media, because what's being said on the media right now is bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Were there some Trump supporters that were pissed off and angry, and they actually bought into what these dressed up Trump supporters were doing? Yes. Maybe, I would say probably 50 to 75, but there was 2 million of us there last night. There was 2 million people there yesterday, and it was the most beautiful day. It was peaceful. It was amazing. We were going to stand in front of the Capitol, but there was so much weird stuff going on. It was a setup. It was a plan. And
he gives you a thumbs up too, buddy.
Awesome.
Oh, good, yeah.
Thank you.
It's always good to see a young man with a brain.
Thank you. But anyways, give me 1 second. I'm actually live. So I just want to say my story because a lot of people are giving me a lot. I mean, they're giving me a lot of crap for just being in DC yesterday, and I just want to share my heart because it's, and I'm gonna actually post some videos because I actually have videos of where Trump supporters were really pulling these dudes down in all black as they were breaking windows, and they would be yelling, "Not one of us! They're not one of us!" Or there was actually one part, and I actually have this on video as well, where these dudes were trying to break in, and they grabbed a policeman. This is crazy. They grabbed a policeman and they started dragging, and they started beating down the cop. And as they were beating down the cop, all of the Trump supporters, they said not one of us, and they literally grabbed the dude and they put him in a headlock and threw the guy down. And then all the Trump supporters started yelling, send him back," because it was so squished. We're all like sardines. And I'll never forget the fear that was that cop had. He thought he was going to die because we were all the way at the top of the Capitol, and they grabbed a cop and they were bringing him down. There was like these 3 or 4 Antifa weird looking dudes that were wearing Trump hats, and they were just trying to antagonize him. They were like, "Take him down, beat his ass." And then everyone was like, no, they're not one of us. They're not one of us. And so I watched Trump supporters take these 3 or 4 guys down, put them in headlocks, throw them down, and they were like, send the cop back. And so that's literally what happened. And I have video. I have this on video. I'm going to post it on video. I'll post it on my Instagram story after this. All that to say, the media are liars. And it's not about necessarily even the media. It's like there's people at the top that are playing this game, and they have a lot of money, and they want America. They want American citizens to be divided. And I always kind of felt and believed that, but yesterday, for the first time in my life, I saw it with my own eyes. I could not believe what I was reading on the internet and what I was watching on the news after last night. Don't buy it. We gotta stand. We gotta stand for truth, and we gotta stand by each other's side, because what makes America great is we have freedom. We have freedom of liberty.